Footage shows a group of men scaling ladders to hang the Union Jack and St George's flags.
In the UK, a new elite police squad has been introduced to protect migrants and not at all to manage and control your thoughts and manipulate reality. Hello there, you Awakening Wonders. As you know, in the UK, we care about nothing except vulnerable people. Got to protect them. Are you okay? Are you vulnerable? Vulnerable people is all people. We're all going to die. Even if you've adorned yourself in the appurtenances of power and glory, soon you will be dead. And it makes you wonder why people aren't more willing to connect with eternal values instead of constructing new elite police squads to monitor online spaces and criminalise everyone. It's because there's some sort of dreadful satanic plot afoot to globalise and centralise power and reduce us all to the status of like drones tortured by demons for all eternity. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments and chat. This story is pretty amazing. The issue of migration in the UK is causing so much division and so much despair. And I wonder, as a Christian, how we manage the compassion that is demanded for all people and required of us as servants of God to love one another, and the obvious fact that people in the UK are just sick and tired of having their culture dismantled and the sense that their culture and their country is being flooded by people who don't agree with it or like it. And while I maintain that migrants are obviously, by the obvious fact that they're sort of broken people and desperate, at the lower end of the scale when it comes to who is controlling the head of the serpent. If people don't want migrants, they shouldn't have to have migrants. Not in a democracy. Not in a democracy. So let's have a look at how this story is unfolding in the UK and how it's being used to legitimise the introduction of new power. Michael Schellenberger is talking about it. He's a brilliant journalist, and it's always good to get his insights on the manoeuvring of the deep state. Let's talk about the issue of migration in the UK and why it's causing so much despair.
Rain has really dampened things down. Until a short time ago, there were hundreds and hundreds of people here protesting outside the Brook Hotel. We're on the outskirts of Norwich.
I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about England, actually. It's quite an important issue, but it is raining, so people have just sort of gone home and forgotten about it.
Very much against the fact that asylum seekers are being put up inside that hotel. Then on the other side of the road, on the other side of the roundabout, was a group of people very much in support of those people who've come to this country, many of them on small boats. They actually left already. That was a planned ending at 3:15 before the rain really began. But actually, it had been going pretty peacefully. They were separated by the main road until, according to reports, someone from those supporting those inside the hotel crossed the road. They had their face apparently covered in a balaclava, and that caused an enormous surge of fury, with the protesters on this side pushing against the police, shouting, swearing, and then there was a surge maybe 100 metres or so up the road, and it appeared that someone was going to be arrested and that possibly a decision was made not to do that. Since then, we've heard people coming past, beeping their horns in support. You can hear that now.
All of Britain looks like this now, like police in high-vis, blokes hanging out St George's flags, pro-Palestine, pro-England, pro-something. Either way, Britain is in disarray. On the left, new political parties are being formed. On the right, new political parties are being formed, and new alliances are blessedly emerging. But at the level of the actual government, the current government and the deep state, powers are being introduced to control people, whether it's the use of facial recognition technology, new censorship laws, anti-protest laws, people being arrested and even imprisoned for free speech issues. England seems to be in real despair. Perhaps most concerning is the introduction of this elite police squad to monitor anti-migrant posts on social media. Now, do you believe that the state has a vested interest in protecting migrants? Do you think that's what this is really about? That, Keir Starmer and the MI5 and permanent global interests and the deep-rooted establishment of Britain are talking about what are we going to do to protect migrants? I'd actually find it heartening and delightful if that was their interest. If Yvette Cooper and members of the government were genuinely concerned about migration, at least that would be something genuine, but it isn't that. You know it's not that, and I know it's not that. So what is it? Well, we can see it was they want to introduce anti-migrant policing. What they want to do is create categories of criminalisation everywhere, whether it's around speech, behaviour, the past, anything, so that they can control whoever they need to control and therefore maintain authority in a country that would otherwise reject them. Here's Michael Schellenberger on the same subject. It's official. The UK is now officially a police state. It's become precisely what Orwell warned about. Criticise mass migration, you can expect the police to come to your home, and judges will give longer sentences for wrongthink than for many violent crimes. Here's the Telegraph on this story. An elite team of police officers is to monitor social media for anti-migrant sentiments amid fears of summer riots. Detectives will be drawn from forces across the country to take part in a new investigations unit that will flag up early signs of potential civil unrest. The division, assembled by the Home Office, will aim to maximise social media intelligence gathering after police forces were criticised over their response to last year's riots. It comes amid growing concerns that Britain is facing another summer of disorder as protests outside asylum hotels spread. The government have stopped pretending to fix Britain and have started trying to mute it. This is a Prime Minister who's happy to turn Britain into a surveillance state but won't deport foreign criminals, won't patrol high streets and won't fund frontline policing. Labour is scared of the public. Labour don't trust the public. Labour don't even know the public. Nigel Farage, the UK reform leader, said. It follows criticism of the authorities over what some regard as a heavy-handed approach to social media, including a judge's decision to jail Lucy Connolly, a mother of one who's married to a Conservative councillor, for 31 months over an inflammatory post in the wake of Southport attacks. Plans for the new investigation unit emerged in a letter to MPs by Dame Diana Johnson, the policing minister, which was published just before recess. She wrote, "This team will provide a national capability to monitor social media intelligence and advise on its use to inform local operational decision-making. This will be a dedicated function at a national level for exploiting internet intelligence to help local forces manage public safety threats and risks." While the UK is plainly being turned into a police state, whether you're on the left or the right, you're dissatisfied, that at least we can agree upon. People on the right, patriots, are fighting back. Now, let me know what you think when you see flags being erected. Do you assume these people are racist? Do you think that they should be maligned? Have you been pre-bunked to think of anyone that's patriotic as a default racist? And, in fact, if people are racist in a democracy, shouldn't they be able to have their racist nation? Let me know what you think in the comments and chat. And let's have a look at these flag protests that are sweeping across the UK.
This is the moment a gang of masked men hung St George's flags in Canary Wharf.
When you say a gang of masked men, the implication is that they are somehow terrorists and miscreants for doing it. But they're, of course, masked because they know that they'll get arrested. In a way, what authority should be able to stop people from flying a flag in their country? Remember, when it was convenient for people to die under that flag, the very same interests and institutions happily afforded it. Think of the number of coffins draped in that flag from young conscripted men fighting in foreign wars. Now, when the very same young men, or at least demographically, I would assume, same young men start to put those flags up in their hometowns, they are vilified. That's in Canning Town, pretty near where I'm from. Certainly it's near where my beloved West Ham United play football. Is that what you want to call what West Ham do these days? Anyway, for me, watching these protests is heartening. Even though I do agree that we would like a varied and inclusive society, I know there's no way of achieving that as long as centralised authority, both state and corporate, maintain the kind of control they have over British political, social and cultural life, i.e. we need revolution.
Amid a row over councils tearing them down, footage shows a group of men scaling ladders to hang the Union Jack and St George's flags.
Even the use of the word scaling rather than climbing is an indicator that they're attempting to perjure the actions. See the watermark in the corner? That's the Sun newspaper. The Sun newspaper has as its key demographic young working class people, maybe not even young, just working class people. And yet that's the very demographic that are most punished and misinformed by that very same instrument. The Sun newspaper detests British working class people. It is the plaything of a billionaire, a member of the class of people, the caste of people that require that British people remain enslaved and stupid and ignorant. You want to know what the macro change is? The macro change, you already know it. They are on the precipice of resolving through AI and robotics the requirement for a serf class, peasant class, industrial labour class, whatever you want to call it. They don't need that no more. So what they want is you addicted to drugs, addicted to bad food, and dumb and stupid, and preferably killing one another. So once they've got that, they can legitimise controlling you, jailing you, criminalising you. We've been taught our whole lives to hate people that like that flag. I know because, curiously enough, I'm from that class of people, grew out of it through celebrity, and now I'm once again kind of fascinated by the values of British people because, well, I am one and I love them. Rumble Premium is a beautiful way of getting additional content, not just from me, but from Kim Iverson, from Ruben, from Mug Club, from Timcast, some of the world's softest, fluffiest liberals. Rumble Premium gives you an ad-free experience, and you will get access to things that I wouldn't normally show anybody. Yes, that's right. My genitals. There will be no genitals. Whether it's breaking news or real talk or the content that challenges the narrative, Rumble Premium puts you in the front row. Support creators who actually say what they mean and mean what they say, who aren't just, what does it say there? Reading a script to get, what's that? Money. Yeah, you don't need none of that stuff. Go to rumble.com/premium brand and join today. That's rumble.com/premium/brand, because truth shouldn't come from a filter. Remember when the government tried to bring me down? Rumble backed me, because why? They believe in freedom. Mine, yours, everyone's. Join us. Click the link.
It comes as residents have hit out at Tower Hamlets Council in East London after it announced the patriotic displays would be removed. Earlier this week, similar footage showed Union Jack and St George's flags raised by locals as part of a movement online called Operation Raise the Colours. But Mayor of Tower Hamlets, Lutfar Rahman, who was found guilty of electoral fraud in 2015, has thwarted the campaign. However, Sir Keir Starmer says he, quote, absolutely supports people putting up the English flags. Tower Hamlets Council previously sparked controversy when they allowed Palestinian flags to be raised after the war in Gaza broke out in 2023. They were eventually removed last year after members of the local Jewish community reported they found them, quote, oppressive and intimidating. It comes as tensions across the country continue to rise, with hundreds of protesters gathering in the capital earlier this week.
When you're a member of the institutional class that run a country like the United Kingdom, you have two options. Either you can serve people and ensure that they're satisfied because you're doing a good job of running a country, or you can legitimise increasing authority so that their dissatisfaction and disobedience becomes criminalised and is already regarded as a problem. If you are British, you have to love the British people. If you love the British people, you want them to be free. You want them to fly their flags, run their communities, grow their own food, eat healthily, love one another, watch the football, tolerate and embrace, in fact, migration to a sensible degree, and have the ability to put on the end of a stiff jab corporate, commercial interest, government corruption and control. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments and chat. And does it seem increasingly likely that revolution will come not from the left but from the populist right? And with the correct Christian values, this could be the very thing that restores Britain to the type of values that we've always celebrated. Well, I think you know what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments and chat. Remember, we stream at these times on these days. In the meantime, if you can, stay free. Thanks for watching the video. Have a look at this one over here, or join us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on Rumble.